Welcome to Today in Woburn. I'm your host, Samantha Stone, and we have a show chock full of good stuff today. We, of course, will have our Mayor Scott Galvin on, but we also have Larry, who's here to talk to us about Memorial Day and how we're going to recognize that in the city. And Jessica Callanan is here from the high school, and she's going to talk all about senior activities and some other things happening with the high school. So thrilled to have everybody with us. Larry, I'm grateful that we get started with you today.
Thank you very much, and thanks for offering me the time. As most people are aware, due to COVID-19 restrictions, we will not be having our annual Memorial Day parade, but we will be having a shortened ceremony on Woburn Common, beginning at 9 a.m. We will have a Pledge of Allegiance. We will have a couple of speakers. Jessica Callanan, the principal of the high school, will be sending hopefully 2 students down, one to read the governor's proclamation and one to read Logan's orders. And George Poole will be doing our roll call, which is a reading of the names of all veterans from the city of Woburn that have passed away since our last event, which would have been Veterans Day, November 11th of last year. So I think he said he had about 37 names last time I talked to him, and we do a drum roll and we'll do taps. And again, that will be at 9 a.m. on the Common. And that would be the only type of service that we will be having on Memorial Day. What we always do also is for the Memorial Day weekend, we end up decorating all of the graves at Woodbrook and Calvary cemeteries with veterans flags. We put out about 6,900 flags over, and there are 4 cemeteries. There's Woodbrook and Calvary, but there's also a first burial ground, which is located down behind the old Royal Furniture off Woburn Center, and then a second burial ground, which is at the corner of Montvale and Prospect. So we will be decorating all of those areas. On Friday, the American Legion is in charge of Calvary Cemetery. Anybody that would like to join or assist them can go over there at approximately 9 a.m. Anyone that does help them, just a quick note, we put the flags on Calvary, we put the flags next to the gravestone itself so that the maintenance people can cut the lawn. We do Woodbrook Cemetery. The VFW is in charge of that. And we usually meet at the Veterans Lot, which is up on the corner of Beach and Salem. Excuse me. We meet up there about 8 a.m. And we have a number of volunteers. And we walk the cemetery and we put flags at each veteran's grave. I do have quite a few young helpers. And for any student that does come and help at either one of the locations, I do write a letter and send it to the student and the principal of their elementary, middle, or high school to let them know that they participated in a civic duty. I also know that on Thursday morning, Jessica and a number of volunteers from Woburn High School will be going over to Woodbrook Cemetery at probably about 9 o'clock. And they will be helping to clean the area around all of the veterans' graves so that when we go to put the flags up, they'll be nice and neat and clean. So that's basically what we have for scheduled for Memorial Day. Memorial Day is not basically a day of celebration. It is more a day of mourning. So what we're doing is we mourn the loss of any and all veterans that have served in any and all of the wars, especially those that have been killed in action. I did just receive a communication from State Rep Richard Haggerty that I had put in a request about 6 years ago, and we have been authorized to name the new replacement bridge up in North Woburn. That will be named after the 13 killed in action Vietnam veterans from the city of Woburn. So the state has approved that. And then just a few months ago, we named the bridge on Salem Street after Patrolman Angie Piazza, who was also a highly decorated Korean War veteran. So the Veterans Office located at 144 School Street, we are open. I would like people to call for an appointment, but we are here. We're here every day, and we are open to serve the community.
Thank you so much for sharing all those, all that hard work that gets done into doing this, and for giving us as a community opportunities to honor those who have lost their lives and served us in such
My
important
pleasure, and thank you, everybody, for letting me go first.
ways. Anytime, Larry. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm
Alrighty,
so
thank
glad
you.
to have these.
Bye.
Thank you. Excellent. Scott, I'm so thrilled to have you back. I think you were just on vacation, right?
I was. Yep.
Yeah. Who knew you were allowed to do that, right?
Yeah, it was great. It was a nice vacation. Get away for 5 days and got back
Nice.
last night. It was really nice.
Excellent. Where'd you go?
Aruba.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
jealous.
Yeah, I haven't been since my honeymoon, and we had a great time.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. My husband and I are celebrating 25 years in December, and we're going back to where we had our honeymoon in Jamaica.
Where was that?
So-
Oh,
in Jamaica. Yeah,
You-
yeah.
You
So
married in December too? I did. I was December 16th.
yeah, a little right before between Christmas and New Year's, but we are definitely staying at slightly better facilities this time than when we first got married. So,
Things changed, right?
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
I have a whole bunch of stuff I want to catch you up on. I think most of which you should be caught up on from before vacation. But if there's anything we need to defer, of course, just let me
Yeah.
know. First and foremost, I know that we will not be having a Flag Day carnival in June as we might normally do. But I've heard lots of maybe rumors, discussions, hypothesis, maybe truth, that later in the summer we might have some fireworks. Is there anything that you're aware of there?
I did get a chance to speak to one of the presidents or past presidents of the Kiwanis last week, and they were looking to do something in August. At that time, Governor Bakers hadn't announced that, everything was opening up on May 29th. So not enough time to do the traditional Flag Day.
Mhm.
And I think it takes a lot of planning anyway. So they're thinking they do want to do something. They're like, the rest of the community, it's time we get moving. And they've got something planned towards the end. They're working on something towards the end of August. We're very optimistic that it'll include some type of fireworks and a celebration that'll be
Great.
nice.
Oh, that'll be a lot of fun. I hope that works out.
Yep.
Thank you for letting us know. I had a chance to see you, I guess, a couple weekends ago now at the Hurl School, where we were doing the tour of the space that we might be able to use for some walking paths and a whole bunch of other ideas. During that session, someone asked a question about the Plimpton School, which is
Yep.
another old school that I believe we have funded to tear down. It's no longer in use. And you mentioned something about digital records. I just wanted to get some information out there for those who are looking to follow up on that.
So the Plimpton School, and in fact, we have appropriated $675,000 to do the demolition. We've hired Weston and Sampson to do the investigation for to tear down, identify any potential hazards that might be in the building. So they're under contract. It's not going as quickly as the residents down there would like. I do understand that. One of the things is that it has been a place for storage of our documents. And we are in the process of doing a digitization of all of our records. And I just met with the IT director, Dave Mastronati, and we'll set something up with Lindsay. She's a new city clerk, and a lot of that will be, not a lot of it, a good portion of the records are generated from her, but the rest of the city. So we'll be meeting with Lindsay this week. I'll be sending emails out to department heads to let them know that we're going to try to move this a little faster than we have been, because, the building has been there, and I do understand the neighbors' frustration. So, I just want to assure them that everything's on track. We are under contract. We have the money. It's just a question of getting the documents out of there. And I'll send something out to the department heads after meeting with Lindsay tomorrow to talk about identifying some of those documents. We can start throwing out, culling some of the records that aren't required. And then, if we can find another space to put the documents, we'll be able to move faster. But it's clearly on track. And, there were a few frustrated neighbors. So we understand.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you for giving us an update. I'm sure Lindsay and team will come up with a good plan for how to do that. So that's great. My mother, Diane Cinto, for those folks who might have seen her in past shows, was intending to be here today. Unfortunately, we had a death in our extended family, and she is traveling to services. But she wanted me to definitely let folks know that we are doing the gun violence prevention proclamation. And you, as always, are super supportive. I think that's Friday, June 4th, if I
Yes.
have that correct.
Yep. So that'll be a good event. We're looking forward to that. Your mother is, whipping us around with instructions to get ready, and we're
I'm
some
glad
clients.
it's not just me, that I get to share
Yeah.
that love and nurturing with.
Yeah.
you
No,
do
she's
that.
got us jumping around with the podium and the sound system. So we'll have that all ready on the day. So she does a great job with it. We're really pleased to support it, and looking forward to that day.
Yeah, me too. And we have had some unfortunate violence in Woburn this last year.
Right.
And so it's a healthy reminder. It's not something that we can afford to ignore. So as always, thank you for your
Yeah,
support. I
that'll
know
be a nice
for
event.
her.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
look forward to that. We also have the Pride flag raising is June 1st.
Right.
So that's coming up on Tuesday.
Tuesday. So
Yeah.
yep, we're ready for that, and that'll be for the whole month. We have the flag ceremony, and that's always a nice nice ceremony, and looking forward to that.
Yeah,
There's
we had a
also-
couple people on also reminding us that the Spectrum Club is part of the sponsors of that, and that they're doing a book drive and things that are happening that in conjunction as well. So
Good. Yeah.
thrilled to have that, which is great. A couple other things. One thing that you just see, I don't know these things until I go and I look on our website. Last week was Public Works Awareness Week. Which I did not know was a thing, but I as a person who has benefited from the water department helping unclog my pipes, I'm deeply grateful for the work that they do. And I just wanted to give you a moment to sort of recognize the team and all the hard work that they do. I know we're a little week late. I wasn't available last week, so
the Public Works they do a great job from top down to the bottom. They kind of, I don't want to say work in anonymity, but they do work, and they take care of the roads, they take care of the drains, the sewer, and trees, potholes. They do a really nice job, and the city shows, and they do take a lot of pride in their work. So yeah, big shout out to Jay Duran, Lenny, Tony, and the rest of the guys down at the DPW. They do a great job.
Yeah, I love it. Before I ask my last question, anything else that update? You're coming off of vacation. Anything you want to get out there?
I think there's two really good things coming up. Tomorrow night at the Lord Hobo. That's the we partnered with Lord Hobo and Armstrong Ambulance, and we've got about 150 shots of Johnson & Johnson. That's the one shot, and reached out to Dan Lanigan, and they a great business in the city, and they were really excited about the opportunity to give their patrons the vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine, and they're going to give them a free IPA. So it's a shot of J&J and a free IPA. That was the
I gotta tell you, I have extended family members who I will not name, but who are very close to me, who are a little upset that I had them get their vaccine before the beers were poured.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
That's tomorrow night at 6, and we expect it to be a fun night and an important night for everybody's health, because what they say is you get that shot, it's good to protect yourself, your family, and your community. So it's a great opportunity to have a little fun, but to do something seriously good for the community. And another one that we've just been able to work on, which I'm really proud of and excited about, is we've been working with Mass General Hospital. They're locating. They're going to be soon located up a 60,000 square foot medical office up at the Vale where the Atlantic Gelatin was. And I've been working with them for quite a while, Matt Crowley and I, and we've been able to get them to give us up to 300 shots of Pfizer, which we're going to be, offering to our, students 12 to 17, which is the middle school and the high school. And we're going to start doing that this week. We're working on getting the registration out to parents, and we're hoping that those students who haven't got vaccinated get their vaccine. So we've got the first vaccine clinics for our students started Thursday for middle school, Friday for the high school. Jess, I know you're on there. Matt will be reaching out to you, but we're really excited about that. And again, it's so important now with things opening up that everybody does their part, gets the vaccine. Again, protect yourself, your family, and your community. It's really a real important thing for people to be getting vaccinated. So we're excited. We're grateful to Mass General. We're grateful also to Lord Hobo for partnering with us, and also Armstrong Ambulance.
I love it. And just to be clear, 12 and 17-year-olds, you don't get to go get a beer, but
No,
but they do get to have. So these are wonderful, contributions to the community. Thank you, Scott.
yeah,
Last little thing before you go, I don't know if you've had a chance to catch up, but we looks like we're going to have a little bit of a race for mayor. Ellen
yeah,
Krause has put her hat in the
yeah,
ring, so I'm sure we're looking forward to a spirited
yeah.
discussions about our community, and I'm going to put a word. I hope I get a chance to moderate a discussion between the two of you. It would be a lot of fun.
I'm sure you will. I'm looking forward to it. And, I've built a strong record over the past 12 years, proud of the work that we've been able to accomplish. And, I'm looking forward to working hard and asking people for their vote to get reelected. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, awesome. We're so excited. Welcome back. Thank you for all these great updates. Next week, we have a very special episode. I won't give away all the goodness, but we'll be having an in-person episode taped on the library lawn on June 1st, so on
Good.
Tuesday because
Yep.
of after the holiday. And we have some special little promotions. I'll be having some gift cards for some of the local downtown businesses. I'm going to purchase them on behalf of the show and give them out to folks. And we'll have
Good.
some fun stuff. Captain Jack will be there. He'll take some pictures with some folks, and hopefully it'll be a nice, safe way to remind folks of all the great downtown activity. And we'll get more information out to folks.
Good. Okay. See you next week.
See you then. Thanks, Scott.
See you, Jess.
Right. So Principal Callahan has been very patient. Thank you so much. And she has done, like, you know how you have a wardrobe change? She's had a location change from outside to inside. Welcome, Jessica.
A little too chilly out there.
Yeah, I saw the wind blowing. Can you believe it's like 90 yesterday and today it's,
Let's go back up tomorrow, so no worries.
Good. Well, yeah, I want to keep my flip-flops out, so I'm ready for it. I'm really excited to be talking with you because last year when we spoke at this time, senior activities and graduations and things looked very, very different. I'm sure there are still changes happening. I thought this is a great opportunity for you to kind of just catch us up on what seniors will be able to do this year and what those things will look like.
Sure. Thanks for having me. First of all, I appreciate the opportunity to talk to the community. I think people are probably pretty exhausted with emails, so it's always, nice to speak to people in person. So, or at least over video, right?
Yeah.
So yes, you're right. Last year, we did everything that we could, really just learning about the pandemic and what was safe and what wasn't. And we were able to successfully have a graduation, but it was in the end of July, if anybody remembers that. And it was 95 degrees. The mayor stayed the entire time, 12 hours. It was 12 hours on the field. So it was a day that was very, very special, but students were only able to come through with their families in small groups, so groups of 20. And so I think we made it a really special event, but that was really, that was it. We did a virtual lip dub. We did some different things. The staff put together, all the places you'll go, a Dr. Seuss book for the kids and things like that. But they lost, and my daughter actually was a senior last year. So I not only was a principal going through that, but also a parent. And it was pretty heart-wrenching. They lost their senior athletic seasons. They lost their proms, many of which had already purchased the prom dresses and all things like that. So things are changing pretty rapidly this year. And so we have had to kind of modify our senior events, but we have a pretty long list of events that are able to take place. And so seniors are finishing up right now with their courses, and their final grades are being submitted on the 26th, which is this Wednesday. And we actually had 86 seniors complete an internship this year in their fourth term for the first time. So that was a pretty exciting initiative. And then they had internship presentations to some of our curriculum coordinators, teachers, and administrators, guidance counselors over the course of the last 3 or 4 days. And they were awesome. I'm so proud of the kids, for going out there and just getting some life experience and all different types. And so that was a new piece to the senior experience this year. In addition, this week, we typically would have prom this week, but it was very up in the air whether or not prom was going to be able to happen in any capacity. So we flipped things a little bit. So this week we're doing our yearbook ceremony, which I'm sure that people that are outside of Woburn don't understand the significance of the yearbook ceremony, but it is a ceremony where the class comes together, and we are able, I had kids sign up ahead of time, so I think about 200 of the seniors are going to come together. They get their yearbooks for the first time. The yearbook is dedicated to someone in the community. It's always a surprise. Seniors also receive their athletic awards. There are about 6 athletic awards that are given. So there's a scholar athlete, male, female, a community service award for athletes, male, female, and basically an MVP, the most athletic male, female. And they're given a class gift, and so it's just a fun time for them to come together. Usually then it's followed by a barbecue, but we're kind of flipping things a little bit this year, so they're just coming in this Wednesday for the yearbook ceremony for a couple of hours, and then on Thursday, ahead of what Larry Giuseppe was talking about, there is a group of kids, it's by volunteer, but we're meeting at the high school at 9. We're going to walk over to the cemetery and help with cleaning up the cemetery, placing the flags next to the veterans' headstones, and then coming back, and they'll have a class barbecue outside around 12-ish, and so we have a local vendor that's going to support that. And so everybody just kind of pulls together to make this happen. And then next week, we'll have an Odyssey cruise, which is something that the kids typically do. And so about more 2/3 of the class is going on that in Boston. It's like a lunch, semi-formal sort of event. It's fun. And then we will have the promenade, which is going to be on June 4th. No, June 3rd. I'm sorry, I'm off by a day.
Okay.
And so it's the Thursday before graduation. And that's going to be not in the gym this year. It's going to be on the football field, just so that we can have the maximum number of spectators so people can see their children dressed up. The class voted to keep it a formal event. And so they're going to be, dressed to the nines, and then if students could participate in the promenade where they kind of walk across and show off their dresses or tuxedos or what have you. And then they're going to come and peel around into the high school, because we could not have a regular prom in like Danversport Yacht Club this year because of the size. It was, our class is over 300, so you just still can't do that. And so we're having an outside event with a music playing and other activities for the class. They're going to have food trucks, but it's fancy food trucks, as I'm told.
I love it.
Yeah, the kids are excited about it. I'm excited that they're able to come together. And then we'll have the next day, final, getting their caps and gowns, getting their cords, paying up final obligations, doing the full rehearsal for graduation. And then on Sunday the 6th at 2:00, we have graduation. And up until recently, it was going to be very restrictive in terms of guests. But now, as of the 29th, we are going to be able to have a pretty typical graduation. So one event where everyone's there, obviously still encouraging people to be safe, but the restrictions and limits have been lifted. And I think what people will see is a pretty normal event, which I welcome. And then, it's on to the rest of our year with our 9th, 10th, and 11th graders who stay with us until June 21st.
That's awesome. Thank you for that rundown. It is so exciting that there were so many things. My youngest was a senior last year too, so I completely empathize with the challenges. And there was some, the kids were amazing, and they adapted in incredible ways and made the most of it. What a lovely treat to be able to hear all this stuff. Almost back to normal, pretty close.
Yeah.
So I love it. Now, we've been paying attention to all the seniors as we've been talking, but there are lots of other students who are in the high school or entering the high school next year. I want to talk a little bit about MCAS. I know that there has been, I think MCAS has returned to normal scheduling, sort of. Yeah, give us an update of what's really going on and how that will affect the students, in particular who are sophomores or juniors this year.
So the juniors are actually they do not have to take the MCAS, the class of 2022, and however, they were given the option to take MCAS. We're giving the MCAS right now. Actually, it's tomorrow and Wednesday, and then last Thursday and Friday for the whole 10th grade. and they're required to take the English and math, but their science MCAS has been waived for the time that they're in high school. So for 10th through current 12th graders, they did not have to pass a science MCAS. The freshmen do. So we'll have about 80 freshmen take it in the very beginning of June. Those are usually our kids in accelerated biology and accelerated sciences as freshmen. Typically, our kids take the science MCAS as well when they're 10th graders, except for this handful. And then, so our 10th graders are taking it now, and about, I want to say about 86, I don't know, in the end, about 70 to 80 juniors also elected to take the MCAS so that they could compete for the Abigail Adams, John and Abigail Adams Scholarship, which is tuition scholarships at state universities, the Koplik Scholarship, which is a little bit more complicated, but we're trying to get that out to students, also through the state. And if they want to test for the seal of biliteracy, so to show literacy in 2 subjects and get that seal when they graduate, they also have to take and pass the math and English MCAS. So for those 3 reasons, I think is why we see a handful of juniors taking it right now, even though they don't need to, which I'm pretty impressed that students elected to do that, or maybe their parents elected them to do it. But
I learned a long time ago, you can't force a child to take a standardized test.
Yeah, no, they're pretty driven, and they can also take it in the fall. But whether you're eligible for those, for the 2 scholarships, is dependent on the first time you take it. So,
okay.
And so this year and last year, we had students qualify for the seal of biliteracy. This year, almost 40. Last year, around 40 as well, which is pretty amazing. You know, it's our students that are in advanced languages, but also students that English is not their first language, and so they test both the test in English, and so it's pretty impressive. And that our board language department head, Miss Escobar, has been able to make that happen, even in the midst of everything. It's very, very impressive, and it's in all 4 languages that we offer.
What are the 4 languages that we offer?
We offer Spanish, French, Italian, and Latin. And then kids can also test in their native language. So a lot of our students that English is not their first language, their first language is Portuguese. So they can also test in that, or whatever their native language may be.
Yes. Great. Oh, that's so great to hear. Summer school this year is happening. Is it looking somewhat normal, or will there be differences in that?
Well, I think that it is normal. However, we were able to get a lot of funding from the federal government. So it actually is not, there's no charge at all for summer school, which I'm really happy to report. I have made a lot of Herculean efforts with my guidance department and teachers to make sure that students survived the pandemic academically, you know, and came out on the other side. But there are some students that are going to need to make up some courses, and we can now offer that for free, which nobody really likes to be at summer school, but it's a lot easier to tolerate if you don't have to pay, you know, $300 or $600 depending on the number of courses that you need to take. There's also an enrichment program that the district is offering, K to 8, and 2 of my assistant principals are running that, as well as Marissa Boyajian, who's the principal of the Alta Vista Elementary School. And so they'll be running that out of the White Elementary School and the high school. And then the regular typical summer school is run by Mr. Martin, my 3rd assistant principal, also out of the high school. And so that's pretty much the month of July. It goes a couple days into August and starts right after July 4th for both of those programs.
That's great. Thank you. That's really good to know that students will be able to do that and recover from this year and not have to pay
transportation and food provided for all of those programs. So I think it's really great, and I hope that parents take advantage of those resources that are out there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. One of the last things I wanted to ask you about is, you know, as we're thinking about returning in the fall, which I expect will be as close to a normal as could possibly imagine, unless something, you know, we really backslide, but we all hope that doesn't happen. And we're, you know, the more people who get vaccinated and be safe and all that, we won't let that, you know, that won't happen, hopefully. Are there anything that we have done in this year as we've been doing remote and virtual and adapting to different kinds of programming that will stick and make a return appearance in the fall?
I think we're sifting through that as a staff right now with my staff, as well as the students and parents. And I think we have all become much more malleable in terms of, and learned a lot about technology in a short period of time. I think it's like putting everybody in the time machine. And so I know that a lot of our teachers are going to incorporate a lot of the strategies or tools that they were using this year in the future. And I think everybody has come to realize how important the social aspect of school is as a community, and teaching people to be part of that community, assisting people with their emotional well-being, as well as their academic well-being. But I think that one thing that we'll see is a continuance of some of the technology that we have been employing, during the pandemic, and, think where it makes our lives easier and the lives of students easier, and so another thing that we'll probably look at is our internal schedule. And so we had longer blocks during the hybrid schedule. And I think that's something we've always been talking about trying out at the high school. And, was very much interrupted by the pandemic, the work that we were doing. And so before the end of the year, we'll sit down with students and staff, probably through a survey, just to discuss the pros and cons of a block schedule or some kind of a waterfowl schedule. But implementing that is a multi-year process. And so that's something that we're looking at, as we're also looking at potentially replacing our student information system. So it's a work in progress. It's a lot of work, but something I'll be proud of if we're able to pull off.
Yeah, that's so great. I mean, I think there's so many benefits to some of that technology and collaboration. And honestly, it's how we work in the real world, right? So when students graduate, being comfortable with these tools and resources is helpful to them and how they adapt. So this has been wonderful. Anything else going on that you want to share with us before I let you get on with your evening?
I just want to say that I'm really proud of our community, as always. I think that Woburn is an amazing community that pulls together, and when people need help, they help. And parents have been very supportive of our school, and the students are getting the job done. And if not, they know where to turn for help. And our teachers and guidance counselors and counseling staff and nursing staff and custodial staffs and dining facility staffs have all done just an amazing job. And I think everybody's very tired, but very happy that things are improving, and that we survived this together. So I'm just proud to be part of Woburn.
Yeah, thank you so much for mentioning that. I think that's really an amazing truth, and we see it time and time again in so many different ways in Woburn. So I'm glad that you brought that up. As always, Woburn, please continue to take good care of each other, and keep your eye out for next week's episode. It's going to be super special.